Hi y'all, I'm here from Hummy's World, and I know this program has been out now since last October, and here it is March 25th, but I just didn't have the funds to purchase it until now, and so I'm getting ready to do my first videos in Photoshop Elements 11. And so this is just a sneak peek at the new interface and kind of where things are and where things have changed and moved to. And then I'm going to do another video on maybe some of the other more specific changes in Photoshop Elements, especially as I play a little bit more. But I want to review what the word interface means. I've run into quite a few people in real life that don't understand what the word interface means. And basically, you can look at that as where everything is located. I know many people are on Facebook, and you get familiar with where everything is in Facebook, and then they decide to change the interface, and you wake up one morning and you go in there and you click in the same spot you've always clicked, and it's not there. It's moved to the right, to the left, down, over, up, around, spinning, making you dizzy, and you have to relearn the interface and get into new habits on where to click. It's always the same in Photoshop Elements with Adobe. Every version, they like to move things around just a little bit. And there's my bills popping up. Okay. Every version, they like to move things around just a little bit. And this time in Photoshop Elements, they've really moved things around for the first time in a very long time. And so I want to review where everything has moved. The videos at Hummy's World are all still applicable. You can still do them, even though they have been recorded, I think, in versions 3 through now 11. You just have to be able to translate in your mind where the buttons are in your program. So do not be afraid. I'm not going to go back and record 400 and something videos every time a new version of Photoshop Elements comes out. So this is a little helpful video to help you learn the new interface in Photoshop Elements 11 so that you can apply all those previous videos at Hummy's World. And so you see we've gone back to the gray. I remember, nobody likes change. I remember when the dark interface came out, and lots and lots and lots of complaints. And then eventually they went back, and I don't know if they have in here. I haven't checked. I haven't played around much. Somewhere in here, in the preferences, they had it set so that you could choose a color. Let's see, display. I am not seeing it right off the bat in here. It looks like they're just back to this gray. I am not seeing it. But let me go over that again. If you go to the Edit drop-down menu, Preferences, and General, I want to show you two things that I always click in my preferences that drives me batty. Click this Allow Floating Documents in Expert Mode and click Zoom with Scroll Wheel, because I always zoom with my scroll wheel, and that is going to make your life a lot easier. This Floating Documents in the Expert menu, let me just go and create a new blank file. Let's just choose one of these scrapbooking ones, and you see how it's floating. And then when I come up and I pause here and I see that blue line, I can let go and it will dock it like a boat. Yes, dock it. Now they have changed the toolbar over here, and the first thing that's going to drive me batty is I always go up here to the very top and click the move tool as a habit. It's always a good habit to get right back in the move tool, and it's now dropped down, so I'm going to have to be very careful when I click. My mouse is going to want me to go right up here, and I'm going to hit that zoom tool. But let's look at these tools. You see their icons have changed, and it's no longer in one long line. We have two lines, and the icons are a little bit different. I kind of like them. They're bigger and easier to see. I have very bad eyes, and so this is a great thing for me. But you noticed when I clicked on the move tool, this area came up down here. Oh, that just freaks me out because that's never been there. This is what used to be in all previous versions at the top. There was a submenu at the top. It is now down here. It pops up, takes up more space, and it's a little bit annoying for me because it takes up space. But what you can remember is that whenever the icons are a little grayed down here, if you just click on the one that's grayed, it's going to minimize it. If you click it again, it's going to come up. And so you can easily tuck them away. Here's the photo bin. You can tuck it away. And your undo and redo are at the bottom. You have a new rotate and a new layout, which is what used to be up here in the window images. Let's see, float in window. Those are still up there. See, I haven't played with this but for a few minutes. Rows and columns, default, all floating. I guess because I only have one image. And then you can go to the organizer from here. So this is the one you're going to be clicking on all the time to move up and down. And just remember, when you're doing tutorials, in old tutorials, when it's up here at the top, it's now down here at the bottom. The Windows drop-down menu is still at the top. And this is a little bit different here too. This is previously opened files. A new image from the clipboard or a new blank file is still there at the top. And so what else drives me crazy? Because I've been working in Photoshop all these years. Let's choose, let's say, the Marquee Tool. And before, I would always right-click on it, and it would give me options. And I just kind of hover and move and click again. I didn't have to move very far to change this from a circular Marquee Tool to a square Marquee Tool. Now I have to come down here and choose one of the subtools. Oh, that's just so annoying. See, you right-click on this and it doesn't do anything. You have to come all the way down here and choose one of the tools. I do like that you can see it better because it's larger, but it's going to take some time for me to get used to it taking up so much room. That's the part. I wish it were just a thin, small bar down here almost. But then again, it'd be small. Yeah, and the not being able to right-click. And, you know, before I would right-click and it would be up here. Also, there was two ways of getting to it. Right-clicking and just moving your mouse a little bit, and go ahead and selecting the tool and changing it up here. Now I only have one option. I have to go down here to select all the subtools, and that's going to drive me a little bit batty. And I see there's some new things here too, either that or things I never noticed before. So I'm going to just click that and move it away. And so over here to the right, where our layers palette is. Now this is probably the hardest part to get used to. The trash can and invisibility, the lock pixels, the add layer mask, the adjustment layer icon, and the new layer icon are all at the top. Now let me tell you, it seems like every other version Adobe moves this. It's either at the bottom of the palette or the top. And in 10 it was at the bottom and now it's at the top. So it's like, you know, your favorite grocery store that moves everything. So you have to find them and find new things and see them, and then you just about get used to where it's at, and the grocery store changes it all around again. And so you will get used to it within a week or two, that instead of, you'll go down here for several times and try to click on something, and you know, it'll be up here. And your brain will be retrained. It's okay. It will be retrained. But what's odd about this, what they've changed the most, is this area down here. You see it's much cleaner. I like it. I like the cleaner interface. I really do. But if you want to get your drop shadows, which were normally in a palette up here, you would click on FX. You have to click on FX to get your filters, styles, and effects up here. And I like that it says styles. That was always confusing when I was teaching people in the past. It said you had to hover over it, I think, in order to see that it was the style. So I do like that that is there. And then you have the drop down menu and you can go to drop shadows, and that's cool. But I don't like that I cannot see my layers palette unless I click to go back to the layers. It's like one or the other. It's going to take extra steps because I'm so used to having this docked at the top, and I can just change layers quickly and click shadow or whatever style. But I'm going to show you a little trick here in a minute. Now, graphics, you know, this is that section as digital scrapbookers we never use because we have all of these much better supplies in our kits that we're using than what's in here provided by Adobe. So I almost just, that's not even there for me. But what's cool is they have this new favorites. I love the favorites. You can put your favorite styles and things in here. And if we go back to our style menu, and let's say I go to a different one, Wow Chrome, and I really like this one here, I can right click to it and add to favorites, and it's right there. And so then I can right click and remove from favorites. So you can, this is the default that they give you, but you can add a group of favorites that you use very often right here. And I really like that. But I do not like that I can't see my, it's less confusing for new users, but I like the old interface where I can see my styles and my layers at the same time. So here's what we're going to do. You can click on more, and you know, here's of course more windows, which we used to just go up here to activate them. But at the bottom, whoops, at the very bottom we have custom workspace, and this allows us to put it back to that old look, and this is probably where I am going to stick. So if I click on layers, I can drag it out just like I could before, and I can bring it down here when I see that little blue line, let go, and now my layers palette is below all of these, just like before. And I don't use graphics, so I can close that one. And I have my effects with the filter styles and effects, and I have my favorites. And let's say I really like the new actions. I'm going to go to Windows and Actions. I mean, I could have gone to it down here now. And I'm going to drag this up in here because I use them a lot. And so my layers palette is still down here, but my actions is here. Oh, and any of these that you use, you can drag these things around and customize it however you want. And so that is really what I have to show you. See, now I can drag these around. Now I can just see my layer styles and my layers, and when I don't like it, I'm going to double click up here. So you can get, if you don't like those handy little buttons down here, you can get this right back the way it was. And of course, they're trying to get you to use the guided and the quick a little bit more by making those more prominent. These are, great tools, very similar to a lot of the other tools out there, but better, such as opening up Windows Live Photo Gallery and fixing your photos from there. That and they just do some, like in Windows Live Photo Gallery, I don't know what this one does. They have an exposure setting, and I'm sure this is probably similar but much better. And these are the dummy modes. This is the real dummy mode. This is more advanced dummy mode things. That's what I call it. And then this is where I always stay, because everything that is done in these two, I can do in here. And I tend to just do it manually myself because I have more control. There's nothing wrong with these areas. If you like them and you want to use them, go for it. I'm sure they're great, and I think it's good for beginners. And you can most certainly get in here and play around and use some of these things, but I tend to just stay here. Anyway, that's a little bit about the interface. So we have the tools down here. The sub-tools that used to be up here are down here, and we can click them and make them go away. And then if you want the old interface on the right-hand side to come back, you can get that by clicking down here under Custom Workspace and make your workspace however you want, just like before. So it's not so bad. It's not so bad. I kind of like it. I think I'll get used to it. And stick around for the next video on some of the other things that have changed.